Welcome to Roadway to Success, a show about our perspective of the highway construction industry. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about getting paid. I'm going to introduce these guys next to me. I got
Hanny.
E-Mad.
So today we're going to start the show off with my side of getting paid, which is the
Your perception. Your perception,
yes.
I guess.
Perception.
His
That's
view,
fine.
his
My
perception,
view.
is whatever. Let's go.
I knew you were going to do that. I'm mainly a subcontractor. I do very little to any prime work. So as a subcontractor, once the work is complete, you got to get all your quantities together, get an invoice put together, and send them over to your primes to receive payment. But when you send that invoice, you can't just send just an invoice. You have to, for city, state work, you have to send over certified payroll and sales tax forms. Hanny, you want to dive deeper into?
Yeah, but first let's go back to what you just said about your quantities so everybody understands. When you're dealing with a public bid, they usually have quantities, and we discussed this in the past. If you're doing private work, even as a sub, it's a lump sum, so it works off percentages. So ACE is referring to basically, yes, you got to get all your quantities. It's all individual line items versus a lump sum. If it was a lump sum, it'll be a percentage of a complete. But yes, so once you get your invoice together, either way, normally like us highway guys, it's all quantities. You submit that with sales tax report. If you're doing a city job, state job, they don't really require it that much. But the state, the city wants the tax report because you pay taxes on permanent materials. It has to be permanent materials, not a bottle of water or whatever. You bought lunch for the guys. They want permanent materials on the job because you paid sales tax and they get that money back from the state and the county. That city does.
So it's a credit to the city, basically.
Correct.
Yeah. So a lot of the small towns want it. Some jobs even they ask you to remove the sales tax from your bid.
Yeah.
Don't even include it. They give you a refund on the sales tax you paid.
And with that sales tax form, you got to send over certified payroll, which is
Yes.
required by both state and city.
Mainly by the state jobs. So city jobs really don't do certified
They don't
payroll.
do certified.
They don't really do certified payroll unless it's a city job, state funded. They have the Davis-Bacon. The reason behind the city behind the certified payroll is for Davis-Bacon wage rates rules. So it states in the contract, a laborer gets paid whatever so and so money. An operator, depending on how big the machine is, you're supposed to pay them a minimum wage, and they do interviews. So you have to submit that certified payroll, and the engineer is required to interview somebody on the job to make sure.
So the certified payroll basically is a ledger that is certified by a representative of your company. That's what it basically is, telling them that you did pay your employees this X amount of dollars or X amount per hour.
Yeah, and they also about the fringe benefits as well.
Yeah.
As in a certified payroll. So yeah, once you got the sales tax form, you got your certified payroll, you do your invoice, you submit it to the general contractor. Now the general contractor takes that information, and then we basically put everybody's certified payroll together, put everybody's sales tax reports together. Even if you don't have anything, you have to fill out that form and say no sales tax.
Yeah.
That's the thing a lot of people don't understand, why we getting the money held up. You gotta, if you don't work on the job and you bill, you gotta put on a certified payroll, no work.
Yeah.
So those forms have to be submitted. And then as a general contractor, we take the subs information, we add our own information, and then we have other forms. We got to fill out, like for minority participation, a form that says, this is the subcontractors that we paid money to this month on this estimate for, for minority purposes to meet our goal. And then we submit our invoice on top of all that other paperwork.
As well as your material received stuff.
Yes, material received, where everything has to have material received. Basically a receipt where you got it from, or a bill of lading, they call it.
And a certification.
And a certification paperwork.
Type 1 through 7, we're not going to go through.
Yeah.
Read this.
So there's a lot of stuff the guys got to understand. The highway contractors have to submit all this. And they actually look at it, believe it or not. Somebody from Raleigh will come and check it out. They do, inspections on the inspectors. So they'll come in randomly and check all the paperwork and say, hey, you got your certification, you got this, you got that. It's a lot of tedious work, but, it's necessary.
Yeah.
So once all that's submitted,
It's the waiting game.
the waiting game. So you got, if you got a city job that the city inspector is not inspecting, and they hire a CEI firm, contract inspection firm, that firm has to go through it and then submit it to the city engineer, and then the city engineer goes through it and then submits it to their finance department to pay.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is normally the city has to pay for the job, and then they get reimbursed at the end of the job from the state.
Yeah.
Which is usually federal money backing it up as well.
So when I was with the DOT, we didn't go through that two-company process.
Yeah.
We worked with the DOT to get the estimate together. That was state. I know the city.
It's state, yeah.
Different cities are
Yeah.
different, so
Yeah, it's a big job. It's a little different.
for sure.
But yeah, so once you get all that in and everybody is okay with everything, it goes to finance. I mean, that process, you end the estimate at say the 30th of the month. It still takes about another week for the contractor to get all his stuff together and his sub. The biggest issue that general contractors have is normally they have their crap together as far as certified payroll and everything, because we use very expensive programs that basically do everything for us.
Mm-hmm.
Once we input everything daily, we just run a report in a month, and we verify. Somebody in the office verifies everything, and it can happen in a matter of a day.
So outside of me, it's a struggle getting
It's
it from some subcontractors, huh?
It is a struggle. It is
trying
a
to
very
explain to
struggle.
them
Yes.
certain things, and
I mean, there's a lot of the small guys don't understand. I mean, they just because they're working in their business more than on their business. What we talked about before, and they're not understanding. There's a lot of back end and late nights that they got to spend doing all these paperwork to get your money.
business aspect.
And let's say you're a subcontractor and we owe you $30,000 that month, but the estimate might be $300,000. So your 10% portion is holding up the whole the whole money.
Yeah.
So we got to have everybody's stuff in before we can submit it. Otherwise, it's been told so remove these items from this guy ain't gonna have his stuff together.
Yeah.
He ain't getting his money. So we'd hate to do that.
Of course.
But has it happened before? It has happened before. And that's one big threat that the DOT representative likes to throw out there. We'll just not pay you for this. We'll not pay you for that. If I don't have this, I'm not going to run the estimate. And, we got suppliers. You got suppliers. We've already paid our payroll. You've paid your payroll. I mean, getting paid is huge. You imagine how much payroll, if we're averaging 60 to 90 days before we see money, and you got a huge payroll like we do, I mean, you're in for hundreds of thousands of dollars on in a span of 3 months waiting for you to get paid on multiple jobs. Plus the subcontractor, normally you guys have 1 or 2 jobs. We have 6, 7, 8, 10 jobs going on a month.
Yeah.
We got to collectively get everything together, shuffle in the right jobs and submit it. So it is a hassle. And then, once we get our money, normally some cities still write checks. A lot of it's going to ACH transfer. They transfer the money.
Mm-hmm.
We pay on Fridays. So, if we get money on Tuesday or Wednesday, even Thursday, we'll up the bill, go ahead and get the money and distribute it on Friday because we know how important it is. But,
Yeah.
getting paid it's a process, and it's the most important process because all the stuff you've done is worth nothing if you don't get paid for it.
Yeah.
And you got it's a trickle effect. I mean, you got suppliers that give you multiple supplies on multiple jobs, but if you start falling behind on a few jobs, the other ones they're gonna cut you off on other jobs that you're okay on.
Yeah.
So you have to shuffle things around. Getting paid is very important because some cities, smaller towns will cut checks faster than bigger cities.
Yeah.
The state is great about paying you. If you work for the state, it goes through, boom, and you're getting your money fast.
When I was working for the state, man, some payments would be out 7 days after the estimate.
Yeah.
I've told you I used to do my estimates quick.
Yeah.
So
See,
7-10 days after that money's in their account, which contractors love that, man.
Yeah, and going back to also the inspector has to verify quantities. He's got to start working on his portion a day or two before the end of the estimate.
A week.
Or whatever.
You're
hoping he
he's
does,
Yeah.
But if if his wife messes with his head and pisses him off on Thursday and estimates off on Friday, he's not gonna start until Monday or Tuesday.
Yep.
I mean, that's 4 or 5 days, and we ain't even got quantities verified from the inspector.
For sure.
Because you can send your bill in as a contractor, but if the inspector don't verify it, he don't match, that's another day or two.
Yeah.
Shooting emails back and forth. I mean, we've had 2 months where we haven't heard nothing and say, hey man, what's going on? oh, we're missing something. I mean, that's the biggest thing that a lot of these engineers and inspectors don't realize. I mean, we need to have communication. It's key, man. And a good project manager will communicate with their project engineer or head inspector and make sure, what do you need? Tell me now so I can get everything for you. But it falls back, a lot of subcontractors, do not, they don't get the information to us fast enough, which slows the whole process down. But
Yeah.
I mean, your goal as a highway construction and any construction really is to get paid. If you submit the estimate in the first week of the month, for the month before, if you get your money within, 14 days, 21 days, 2 or 3 weeks after, it's not bad. It's about average. I mean, average is about 60 days.
Yeah.
Some lag the 90 and 120.
Yeah.
That's when it gets technical. I mean, it gets very crucial. Sometimes they run out of money on a state job. Got overruns. It's got to go to city council for city jobs that are state funded. Even though it's state funded, the city has to, like I said, they have to pay first. So they got to go get the money from city council to say, okay, we're going to pay these guys. And
Yeah.
then that process is they only meet once a month. We're right now in the middle of an issue with the jobs where 2 jobs, a lot of money. City council, one of them, they approved it, and that was last month. Here we are in February, we still haven't seen our money.
Yeah.
They approved it second Tuesday of
And
January.
these jobs have been done for over 2-3 months.
Yeah, they were done in
Yeah.
November. So you're just sitting here waiting.
Yeah.
What you gonna do? You're gonna tell them I'm not working for you no more? You're not.
Yeah,
Your biggest
maybe.
customer.
It's your customer. Yep.
That's what that's a different level of customer service. It's different than normal customer service. But that's the life you live as a highway contractor, unfortunately.
That's why you rely on credit lines and other
Other
things that you
means to
can
get
and-
things done. Yeah.
And that's when, talking about for newer companies, any of y'all trying to start something new, you got to put that into your startup capital, man.
yeah.
you know.
And that is a natural
60, 90 days of working expense.
It is. It's a natural barrier to coming into this type of work. And you just have to understand, you have to be financially sound. I'm not saying you have to have millions of dollars, but you have to have good credit. You have to be able to pay people on time. You got to be able to pay your employees.
It's a business.
It's a-
That's why
it's a
everybody. We're gonna.
huge
I think
Next episode.
the next
yeah.
episode we're gonna talk about the business of construction, and show everybody out there how all businesses are pretty much run the same way. Whether you're doing construction, restaurant, whatever business you have, a clothing store, taxi. I mean, you're running a business, car dealership. Doesn't matter.
We'll keep it roadway related, though.
Yeah, we're gonna relate everything to the roadway, but in general, how you operate and how you manage your money
Yeah,
is very crucial to just getting paid.
for sure.
Business, that's basically the most important aspect of your company.
Yeah, man. Well, probably close this episode out and get ready to for the next one. And,
Sounds like a plan. I think everybody hopefully learned something today.
Yeah.
Like we said, man, getting paid is most important.
Mhm.
It's the most important step in the beginning and the most important step in the end of the job.
Yeah, just make sure you guys are subscribing, asking your questions down in the comments box, and share it with your friends and family.
Give us
And
a
don't
like.
forget to keep bidding, keep digging.
See you later.
Thank you.